Okay, so today we are going to go over setting up our template for 2021 into 2022. I'm super excited. All the forms are updated in Docusign. I've released a video yesterday. Um, People ask me all the time, where do I go get my forms? So we have several places to get them. And one of those is Docusign, which is provided to us by Keller Williams. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to realestate.docusign.com. So you don't even have to go through command to get to this spot. You just go straight to realestate.docusign.com, which will take you into Docusign rooms. As you can see in the upper left corner, that's where we want to be, not in the regular e-signature side of Docusign. So if you guys are following along and you want to go ahead and get yourself to that place, please feel free to do so. And I'll give you guys a minute to do it. I love that we have these templates in here. I used to always use zip forms into Docusign before I came over to KW. So very, very similar to that. Great time saver. And so hopefully everybody has gotten themselves to realestate.docusign.com and logged in. And the first thing we're going to do once we're in here is click on the My Docs button at the top, the My Docs button. Okay. And then next up, we're going to go right below and click on the Form Templates button right there. Open that one up. So once we are here, you can see that I had some templates set up for my 2020 forms right here. Some of the data will flow over, but I'm going to show you why I am going to choose to delete my 2020 forms, because when I come up and click this Create a Form Template button in the upper right corner, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the easiest first. We can still choose our group subset to pare us down a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the KWRE buyer forms right there and pull in my exclusive buyer agency agreement. So if you try to apply your 2020 templates to your 2021 templates, your name, license number, phone number, the brokerage address, all that kind of stuff will still apply to the form. However, what I do in mine is I fill in lots of stuff that I normally fill in anyway, because that way I don't have to do it every time. And I'll show you what I mean as I go through this exclusive buyer agency agreement. I don't know the date. I don't know who my clients are going to be, because I'm going to apply this to all of my documents. But I do know that my brokerage is Keller Williams Realty Elite, right? And that way I don't have to type that. I more than likely am going to be doing residential sales. So all of these options that you select, if you try to apply your 2020 template, it will not fill these in, because the mapping is different. So just like we've always done historically in this area, is just July 1st, go on into your system and set up your templates for the year. So other time savers that I put into these templates, I'm almost always going to be working with a buyer who's purchasing a single property. And I'm going to keep moving through. I do not do a non-retainable or a non-refundable retainer fee. So I'm going to go ahead and pop 0 in there. And buyer agrees firm's fee for services shall be in the amount of, I'm a 3% for resale and 2.5% for new construction usually. And you can come in when you put this into your Docusign room and override anything that you put in here if you need to. So I'm just going to keep moving through right there. That way I don't have to type this in every time. So you can see how that would be a huge time saver. If within this many days, you can see some of our boxes have moved on the new forms because this was usually way up here. 60 days is my magical number. So I'll go ahead and fill that in. I'm going to keep working my way through. This way I can go ahead and check all these boxes so that I don't forget, which lots of us are known for doing. So that way I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and put NA here in the home warranty section because I don't personally practice with that anymore. Additional provisions we will not know, right? That's going to be per transaction. So I'm going to keep sliding through, nothing else to choose here. And now here is my 6% of resale purchase price and 5% of construction purchase price, like so. And that's really all that I have to do on this buyer agency until I get down here. I will not know my buyers, but I will know my firm's license number. And you can put the firm phone number in if you want to. If you're a provisional broker, you need to put the firm phone number in there. I am not a provisional broker, so I'm not going to put that there for myself. And we're going to go ahead and put in the company address so we don't have to worry about doing that. Okay. Your own license number, phone number, fax number if you have one. And remember, you do have a fax number here in Docusign. So if you handle short sales, or I see it a lot with short sales, or if you have, somebody who still uses fax, you actually can get yourself a fax number from Docusign, and anything that is faxed to you will just come into your Docusign inbox. So if you guys didn't know that, fun fact. Go ahead and pop in my email address here. And I'm going to save and close this template. Oh, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Buyer agency agreement. Let me go back in. Here's where you can come in and edit, right? So if we move into our new office, we will need to come in and edit our address. But when you're in here, if you want to rename this, I do have some folks that practice, commercial and other stuff. You can set up multiple templates for the same form if they operate differently, right? So if you do that, you just have to make sure that they have a unique name. So up here in the upper left corner, you're going to click this pin. And I'm just going to say this is, 2021. So I know what it is. And save. I have to click this green check box to save that name. And I'm going to click save and close. And then I'm going to see my 2021 exclusive buyer agency template right there. So from this point, does anybody have any questions? Everybody good? Carol, did you have a question, sweetie? Okay. All right. So that is how we go in to set them up. Another form that I love to set up a template for is the offer to purchase, right? So I'll go through that really quick, and also the listing agreement.
Hey, Monica.
Go ahead, Mike.
Tell me again how you renamed it. I missed that. I was saving.
Yep. We can take a look at it right now. So let me go back into my KWRE buyer forms, and I'm going to choose the offer to purchase here and click the use button.
Okay.
And up here in the upper left corner where it says 2T offer to purchase and contract, right there, I'm going to click the pin. I'm going to wait for this to load.
Okay.
There we go. So I'm going to click the pen and then I can just come up and rename it right here. So if you're going to set up multiple, like multiple offer to purchases, maybe you set up one that's going to be conventional, maybe you set up one, you know, for different reasons, you could name it your 2021 FHA offer to purchase or your 2021 conventional offer to purchase. You just have to make sure it has a unique name if you're going to save multiple of the same document.
Got it. Thanks.
And so I really do. I mean, we all know what we see and what we don't see, right? So on a regular basis, and it could depend on where you are. So on this offer to purchase, we're not going to know who's seller, buyer, the property, the purchase price, any of that stuff, right? But if I almost always use Randall Perry for my closings, then I can go ahead and put him in there, because if 80% of my transactions are closed with Randall, then 20% of the time I can go in and change the name, but the other 80% of the time I won't even have to type it, right? It'll just be there in the form. So that is definitely, you know, especially when we're writing so many offers right now to get one property under contract, if you can save and apply this template, definitely helpful, right? So I'm going to keep sliding through here and let's look at some other stuff that we can do. Like here's a cash, buyer intends to pay with cash, is or is not attached, right? So, so you can see this changed, right? This is one of those changes that we see on the 2021 forms versions, is this separation of cash purchases from lending intentions, right? So if you haven't checked into what changed on the forms, it might be a good time to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, you go to ncrealtors.com, log in with your NERDS number, and on the home screen, there is a big flag that says 2021 forms update, and it gives you a PDF of all of the changes that were made to our forms for 2021, right? So a lot of those were made on the offer to purchase. So anything that you are going to check on a regular basis, I almost always already have mineral oil and gas and residential property if we're making an offer. So I can go ahead and check them off. So that way I don't have to remember to check them off, you know, or be in a rush and end up missing it. Almost always the sellers own the property for a year, for me at least, right? Lead-based paint's a toss-up for me, so I'm not going to check it. Usually a home warranty is not being provided by the seller, at least not in this market. So if you wanted to check that off, you could, right? So you can see all these little things save you time. Set them up one time, good for the year, other than our firm's address change. If that does happen, we'll need to go back in. And we know we are going to be the selling firm because it's our offer to purchase. So we can go ahead and put Keller Williams Realty Elite down here at the bottom. The other cool thing about the forms, and I will say this, if I've already done all of my information on, say, the buyer agency agreement, and I put both templates into the room, it will map all the same stuff. I just, you know, have a high C, and I like to do it on each one of my templates, but it will, these are all mapped. So the firm name, the firm license number, the mailing address are all mapped. So if I apply it to one form in my room, it will apply to all of the forms in the room if it exists, right? So we can go ahead and put all this fun stuff in there. Maybe if I can type my own phone number, which is super cool. And the other one that I like to do, offer to purchase, listing agreement, buyer agency agreement, and my professional services, right? I mean, if we work with the same folks on a regular basis, 26344. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be just buyer's agent or dual agent. So that is not one that I check usually, because that's going to depend on the transaction. Since we do list so many houses, there's a high likelihood it's going to be dual agency. And now this one's done. But the professional services disclosure, if you work with the same people a lot, like if you work with the same home inspector, like you use Drew Branyan from Home Team and he does your home, your radon, and your pest, and you use Randall Perry all the time, and you use Matthew Young from Geico for insurance a lot, and if you use the investor's title or heritage title, I'm sorry, if you use heritage title a lot, then you may want to create a professional services disclosure template, right? Because that way you, I mean, if it changes, you can change it, but that's a lot of typing that it would save you. Does anybody have any questions so far? Are we feeling confident? I know a couple came in late, so I just want to make sure that everybody's had a chance to catch up.
Monica, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that professional services agreement, when you're in Docusign at the first screen before you take it to get signature, you know, before you put in all the signature stuff on that, it only gives you one line in professional services. It's only enough really to put the name and the phone number. I generally, especially if I created a template, I want to do several lines because you'll have to make the text smaller. But the Docusign professional services agreement just allows one line through there at the beginning. I have to usually put in text boxes to add more text, like their address or their email and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Carol, you like me are a high C. We really don't have to add all that stuff.
I know. I didn't do it last time. Amanda would be so proud.
Like to add all that stuff. So that's why they only give us one field, because really it's just supposed to be like Randall Perry or Kim Upchurch.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Okay.
So I mean, if you want to add the other stuff, adding the text box is fine, but they probably will not make that change on this template, since the intention is just for
Just to put that.
okay provider.
That's fine.
But I get where you're coming from, because when I did these, oh gosh, this thing went to 3 pages. I just noticed that. I haven't looked through all the forms changes yet.
No. Hey, maybe they're allowing more room now. What do you think?
On mine, because they expanded to give you more blanks.
Okay.
You had other service providers. I used to always put on mine, if somebody said no, for instance, no, I don't want radon, I would always say no per buyer 7/2/2021. Like, they told me no on this date. No. And I made them sign that they waived it. Because, you know, it's North Carolina. We have radon here. But that's just some examples of the stuff that you can save. So does everybody feel comfortable in the creation of the templates? Okay, so let's talk about applying the templates now. So I'm just going to pop in to a new room. Obviously, we would do all the things that we always do. We would start in command. We would start a new room. It would be connected to our room, or our room would be connected to our command opportunity, just like always. So now anything that is in the details is going to flow into the forms, right? This was just a sample that I was doing in a class one day. So any of these details are going to flow into my form. So I'll go ahead and give this, it does have an address, perfect. So I'm going to come over to documents, and let me just go ahead and delete these forms, since these are the old versions. Just take these out so you can see what the new versions look like. Okay, So when I come in to add my forms, just like normal, blue add button, upper right corner, Docusign forms. And now when I go to KWRE buyer forms and I choose offer to purchase, I've got my little drop down on the right, and there's my 2021 offer to purchase template. Buyer agency, drop down, 2021 exclusive buyer agency. Professional services, drop down, and here's my 2021 professional services. And then I can add my other documents as I want. Any other documents on here that have that mapping, right, that have my name or my license number or my phone number, are also going to fill in if it is mapped the same. So the reason I like to set up one for listing buyer agreement, offer to purchase, and pro services is because I have a lot of other stuff that I fill in besides just my name and license number, right? And you'll see that they did add our Q&A on earnest money and home inspections here, which I'm excited about. And so you can add those in to your room right from there, which is great. And so then I just add selected after I've applied those templates. Uh-oh, templates have conflicting data. I don't know how I did that. I might type.
I'm wondering if when you put stuff in the details, if that actually overrides, did you mention that already? Does that override what's in the templates, or would it conflict? So I wondered about that. Like if you put agent information or something in there.
Yes, it will. Details and templates will conflict. Yes. And
Okay.
the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, say I added these forms and I just forgot to apply my template, right? Say I actually went into this buyer agency and I had forgotten to apply my template, and I got to the bottom and I was like, oh my gosh, I have my name and my address and all that stuff's not filled out, right? Then I would have the option to come back here and click right on my mouse and apply the form template. However, if, say, on this exclusive buyer agency agreement, I agreed to do it for 2% because it was my cousin or what, whatever. If it says 2.5% in my agreement or 3% in my agreement, the form is going to override whatever data I already put into the form before I applied the template. Right. So if you apply the template after the fact, the template will override any data that you input into a templated box. So just keep that in mind. And I want you guys to make sure that you remember how to do this right click apply form template, because coming soon, I don't have a date, but coming soon, anything that is in the office checklist for, say, a buyer, right? When you start a transaction in Docusign, it's going to go ahead and put the forms in the room for you. So then you'll just be able to right click attach templates. You won't have to click that add form button. So just make sure you remember right click and apply template. And you see that this one doesn't have a template, so there is no apply template. This one does, so I can. Good. Any questions, comments, concerns? Do you see how this is a great time saver? Saves you a lot of typing. It saves you a lot of typing. So if you guys do have any questions, or if you come up with anything or think of anything, please make sure that you reach out to me. I am more than happy to help you. If you talk to another agent and they don't understand it, send them my way. Say, just call Monica. I've talked to more agents. I know all of you, except for Anna. I mean, I do know Anna. I've met her now, but all of you in this room, for the most part, I've known for a long time. There are so many new agents that I don't know why, but they're like, I don't know why I didn't just call you first. So if you hear somebody that's having a problem with something tech-wise, just tell them, just call Monica. Just send her a text or give her a call and she will help you, because you guys all know that. You've jumped into my Zoom numerous times. so that I can fix something for you. So help out your fellow realtor and tell them just go ahead and give me a call. All right, well, that is how we set them up. I am doing this again on Tuesday afternoon. So if you hear of anybody who needs help with setting these up, please send them my way and I will be happy to help them on Tuesday at 3 p.m., same Zoom room. And I appreciate you guys coming. I hope that this helps you out. And if you have any other questions or comments or concerns, I've logged off until 11. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to stop my recording.